Ladies and gentlemen, this is TVP World. You're watching another edition of Military Mind, bringing you news from the front lines. I'm your host, Benjamin Lee. Overnight, Russia launched 83 drones at targets in Ukraine. As a result of the attack, officials reported one person wounded in the Sumy region after drone debris fell on a parking lot. And in the Kherson region, a Russian drone dropped explosive on a man, killing him on the spot. In Russia, the country's air defense shot down a Ukrainian drone over the Krasnodar region. According to local officials, wreckage of the UAV fell on a residential building, damaging the roof, but no fatalities were reported. Moving to the Kursk region, Ukraine has launched a counter-offensive, pushing several kilometers through its southeastern flank. Russian military bloggers, who speak more openly than the defense ministry about the situation on the front line, expressed concern that Ukraine's latest advance could compromise Russian positions south of Zuzha and the town of Guyevo. Meanwhile, President Zelensky, speaking with a British outlet, called the Kursk operation one of Ukraine's most successful efforts. He added that Ukraine's offensive prevented Russian forces from launching large-scale pushes in northeastern and southern Ukraine. Further to the Donetsk region, the situation remains tense in Toretsk. Ukrainian forces have once again proven their resilience by repelling multiple Russian attempts to raise flags in the area. According to frontline reports, Russian troops made 6 separate attempts to plant their national flag in Toretsk. Additionally, fresh assessments from the Institute of the Study of War indicate that Russian troops are ramping up their offensive efforts in the Pokrovsk sector. Analysts suggest that Moscow's forces are attempting to encircle Ukrainian positions and consolidate gains in this critical zone. The broader military landscape continues to evolve, with Ukrainian forces reinforcing their defensive lines while preparing for counterattacks in key sectors. Now moving to the Middle East, in the West Bank, the situation in Jenin is growing increasingly dire. Reports confirm that the Jenin refugee camp has been almost entirely destroyed following an extensive Israeli military operation. The scale of the devastation is described as catastrophic, with buildings reduced to rubble and thousands of residents displaced. Eyewitnesses on the ground have spoken of relentless bombardments and a sweeping military incursion that continued for several days. According to local sources, critical facilities such as hospitals and schools have been affected, leaving residents without essential services. The Israeli military claims that the operation was aimed at dismantling armed groups allegedly responsible for attacks on Israeli forces. In our opening clip, see a shocking battlefield mishap unfold in the occupied town of Selidove. A Russian tank maneuvering through the area ran over a vehicle carrying its own soldiers. According to reports, all occupants of the vehicle were killed instantly. Now, this incident highlights the chaos and disorganization within Russian forces, where friendly fire and reckless operations continue to take a toll. Such accidents have become more frequent as Ukrainian defenders maintain pressure on enemy positions, forcing Russian units into desperate and poorly coordinated maneuvers.
Только что на посту, на мосту Селидовском, наш танк переехал пацанов, блядь, и съебался вон туда вот. Вот только что вот буквально переехал, пацаны 200. Танк вот так вот переехал и съебались. Пиздец, номер вот.
On February 8, 2025, Ukrainian forces from the 28th Mechanized Brigade and the 57th Separate Motorized Infantry Brigade successfully shot down a Russian Su-25 attack aircraft near the village of Druzhba and the Donetsk region. Using an Igla man-portable air defense system, they neutralized the aircraft and then targeted an Mi-8 helicopter sent to rescue the pilot using FPV drones, effectively thwarting the recovery attempt. Now, recent developments in the Kursk region have seen Ukrainian forces launch surprise offensive, advancing toward villages such as Bolshoye Soldatskoye in an attempt to regain the initiative. There have also been reports of North Korean soldiers fighting alongside Russian troops in the Kursk region, where they have been described as well-trained and ideologically motivated, but have suffered significant casualties as a result of being deployed in high-risk operations. This footage provides a first-hand perspective on the ongoing conflict, highlighting the strategic operations and the international dimensions influencing the fighting in eastern Ukraine. We close with footage showing the growing intensity of the fighting in Shcherbynivka, featuring soldiers from the fire support company of the 12th Azov Special Purpose Brigade of the National Guard of Ukraine forced into brutal close-quarters combat with Russian forces. With enemy troops pressing hard on Ukrainian positions, the Azov fighters repulse attackers at close range. The urban battlefield leaves little room for error, demanding quick reactions and tactical precision. This footage captured the harsh reality of frontline combat, where every meter is contested and survival depends on skill, coordination, and determination.
У нас йде 3 підера, давайте быстрей.
Живий ще.
Йдемо сюди. Дуже не видно ніхуя. Де він? Де він?
Валяйся нахуй.
Єсть? Красавчик.
Ой, красавчик, красавчик. Его пострелили, он валяется, не может спать, он может валяться.
Зараз буде взрив.
Ой, красавчик.
Уходимо. Да.
Все. Теперь снимай. На экспозицию давай.
And with that footage, we conclude this edition of Military Mind. Before more news, update, and commentary, please stay tuned to TVP World.